Easy mode, what a load of nonsense. So I've spent the last couple of months really getting into YouTube, learning about it, listening to literally or watching literally hundreds of videos, and I've come to the conclusion that easy mode is a load of balls. And I'll tell you why. So I must have watched, I don't know how many I've watched. I've watched loads of videos, and I've watched so many where they're talking about easy mode and about how you can just do this. You can just do this. You can drive around and just talk, and with 2 or 3 key bits, and you're going to get monetized on YouTube. You're going to get a massive following. You're going to get thousands of likes, thousands of subscribers. You're going to go viral, all this crap. Right. I've watched so many of them, and they're literally word for word exactly the same as the others. There's no originality in it, no entertainment factor, no additional knowledge they're giving you. If you've watched one of the other videos, you've already got the knowledge. It's absolute rubbish. And I've come to the conclusion that the term easy mode is really misleading. What does easy mode really mean? Well, what easy mode is meant to mean is that you can go on YouTube, you can just record like this, you can just talk about crap for an hour, or maybe not an hour, but you can talk about crap for, what they recommend is over 20 minutes. So if you can talk about crap for over 20 minutes, about anything, about your life, about what you're doing, or anything like that, then you'll go viral. You're going to get, you know, that's easy mode. Everybody's going to love you. They're going to like your personality, and they're all going to subscribe because they want to know about your life. Well, don't believe it for a second. Now, I'm sure there are people out there on YouTube, like some you may have come across. So one I came across was a lady with the YouTube channel name Dodash, and apparently a few months ago or whatever, she went viral for some video. I don't want to be derogatory, because she got a massive benefit from it, and hands off to her for getting off her backside and doing it. But because of that, everybody suddenly thinks they can jump on this trend of talking crap for 20 minutes and you're going to get a massive following. So I've thought about this for quite a while, and I was thinking today in the car a few minutes ago. I was just driving to look at a property that we manage, and I came to the conclusion that actually easy mode, what it means, rather than it being you just do this, YouTube's easy, it's going to promote you because you're a small channel to millions of people and you're going to get a massive following. What it actually means is YouTube isn't easy. YouTube is simple, because all you simply have to do is make good content, is make content that people want to watch for a reason. Now, that might be because you're really good at what you do. It might be because you're entertaining. You might be because you're a comedian. You might play a guitar and be really good and people want to listen. That's great content. But it's very, very few people who become viral for talking crap. So if you're going to get into YouTube, and hey, don't get me wrong, I'm brand new. My channel, I started my channel about 3 years ago, did a small handful of videos, and didn't do any then for till November, December last year. So within the last couple of months, really. And it was only in the last couple of months I was actually off with man flu, which is a really bad virus in the UK. I don't know if you've got it elsewhere in the world, but basically it knocked me for 6, and I was off for a couple of days, and I was watching a lot of YouTube, and I thought, you know what, I can do as good as some of these, maybe even better than some of the others. So why not give it a go? Because the thing that led me to do this was, i.e. to start putting regular content on the channel. The thing that led me to do it was a video I watched, and forgive me because I can't remember whose it was, I watched that many. The video basically said, you are an expert if you're just 2 steps ahead of somebody else. I've always had this massive hang up about calling myself an expert in anything. I can be a specialist because I do specialise in things. I'm a specialist HMO, management agent. But I'm not an expert. There's stuff I don't know. There's lots of people who know more than I do, but I know way more than others. And even some who know quite a bit. I'm probably a couple of steps ahead because we specialise in it. So that led me to start thinking, well, hang on. I don't have to be an expert to everybody. I can just be an expert to some. And I love helping people and giving out advice. So that's what led me to decide, you know what, let's give this YouTube thing a go. So at the minute, I've committed to it for 12 months. I'm going to do regular content, but mainly property based, but it's going to be based on my day-to-day life as well, stuff I do. Some of that will be property, some of it will be going to Spain. I like to go to Spain quite a bit, so there'll be some lifestyle stuff, and there'll be some of this stuff. So I've done these types of videos for quite a while on my YouTube channel. We called them van chat to start with because I used to drive a van and do it in the van, and then we called it prop chat because I no longer drive a van. So I'm going to do some of this stuff as well. But obviously the purpose of this video was really just to talk about easy mode and what a load of nonsense it is. You'll find there's loads of experts out there who really aren't experts, and I do have a massive hang up for, or against if you like, people pretending they're experts when they're not, and basically preying off people, because most of these experts are preying off people to earn money from them. Now, I'm sort of okay with the YouTube creators using YouTube as a platform to earn some cash, as long as they're not bullshitting and they're being honest. It's when they're misleading and what they're doing is getting other people to do stuff which is never going to work. So I'm okay with that. But what I'm really against are those people who do social, let's say social media, because that's really where all marketing is done nowadays, isn't it? Gone are the days when you put an advert in the paper, or you know, you send leaflets around. And I know a few people still do the leaflets, but it's a dying thing really. And it's all marketing. So social media is how we market nowadays. So people use social media to mislead people. You know, you'll see people even just promoting themselves as doing stuff they're not really even doing. You know, photoshopping pictures, you know, all that nonsense. But worst of all, you get those people who are preying on those that are not in such a great place in life and are just looking for any way to better their lives. Now, hats off to them for wanting to do that and be willing to work hard to do that. But shame on you if you're one of the people who use social media to mislead people for your own benefit when you know what you're saying is a load of crap. And this easy mode falls into that category, in my opinion, because it isn't a method. There's no science behind it. All there is a handful of people who, for whatever reason, and I'm not even sure that anybody even understands the reason, but for some reason, they've had a video or two that have gone viral, you know, gone crazy on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or whatever, and that has increased their exposure that much that they get a lot of followers, and therefore their actual marketing power increases. So it's great for those that do it, because they'll likely be offered advertising deals and things like that, promotions and sponsorships, because people know they've got a big audience. So if they've got a big audience, that's probably something that certain companies will want to market to. So, you know, hats off to them that have achieved it, but you haven't achieved it through any sort of science or strategy or whatever. All you've done is just keep posting shit until some sticks, you know. So yeah, I think, yes, it might happen. Be a bit embarrassing if it happened to me, wouldn't it, right now? But yeah, it might happen. If it does happen, you're damn lucky. You're not clever. You're just damn lucky, because somehow something's got hold of your video and there's something you've put in it that's entertaining or whatever, or just hits a nerve with somebody or whatever. We don't know what it is, and that's the annoying thing. If we knew what it was, great, but then everybody would be doing it and it wouldn't work, would it? So yeah, I don't know. I just think you have to be really careful, and there's a lot of people out there that are easily led. So, you know, if you think you might be one of them, just be realistic, because the other thing is, you're just setting people up for a failure, aren't you? So just bloody traffic. Oh, we've got some crackhead on a bike wobbling all over the road. Yeah, so just, if you are easily led, think about what you're doing and don't set yourself up for failure. You know, I literally know something mental could happen and I could be viral tomorrow, but I'm not thinking it's going to happen. I'm not expecting it or planning or whatever for it to happen. I'm planning for this to be the long haul. I'm planning for this to be hard work, because there's nothing easy about this. It's easy to like think of something to talk about. It's easy to think you're gonna talk about this subject and then you run out of ideas. You know, it isn't easy. That's the thing. So yeah, just don't set yourself up for failure. Have some realistic expectations of it. And then the other thing I'll talk about while I'm at it is this to niche or not to niche. Or, for my American friends, to niche or not to niche. By the way, it's niche. There's an E on the end, which makes it sound niche. Not, if there was no E, then it'd be niche. Just so you know, because I know some of you I've seen asking the question, you're a bit unsure. Well, I'm telling you now, it's niche because it's got an E on the end. So there you go. Anyway, the other thing I want to talk about is niching. So niching basically means, instead of talking to a large audience or aiming your talks at a large audience, you narrow that down and you specialize in a smaller audience. So I saw a really good illustration of this the other day, and the illustration was, if you imagine a target and you've got the bullseye and then you've got 2 rings around it or 3 rings around it. Well, when you don't niche, or when you niche to a quiet audience, sorry, I was there's a car flashing its headlights at me. I've just parked up. And those of you who know what dogging is, it just took me by surprise, because and you either don't watch a Peter Kay program called Car Share. It'll be on YouTube. Just put Peter Kay Car Share dogging and you'll see it, what it's, and then you might get to know what it's about. I'm not going to explain it here, and I've never been, so but I've heard that's what you do, or you do something with your interior light, some light flashing thing going on. Anyway, yeah, so back to the target. So you've got this target with the rings around it. If, say, your audience is crafting, say you're a crafter, and I don't know why I picked that, but I've seen this example used before. You're aiming at loads of people, and maybe your crafting stuff is, well, you start doing videos for all different types of crafting. You get some people who like knitting, and then they subscribe to you, and then the next video you do is painting, and then the next video you do is pottery or cross stitch or whatever, and they don't like it. All they're going to do is switch off or unsubscribe or stop watching. However, if you decide you're going to narrow your niche to, I don't know, cross stitch and knitting and crocheting, you're then going to target the next ring in, and those people are probably all interested in the stuff you're doing. You lose some of them because some of them don't like crocheting, or they don't like cross stitch, so they don't do it, and they're going to unsubscribe. Whereas if you target knitting, could be any of the 3, but if you target knitting, the people who subscribe to you are subscribing because they like knitting videos, so every video you do would be about knitting. This is the bullseye. So you should target the bullseye, because then all of the audience you attract are going to be interested in all the stuff you do. That's the concept. Niche down, niche down, niche down. Well, I'm struggling to niche down, if I'm honest, because if that was the case, I might just do videos about HMOs, which are houses that people rent a room of when the landlord doesn't live there, and they share the kitchen and so on, shared amenities. So I could just do something about HMOs, but then I do other stuff. I do property development, I do commercial conversions, I do stuff in Spain, I do stuff in my life that might be of interest to quite an audience. So it's really difficult to niche down. I don't really want to pick one, because my niche could be, and probably is, a day in the life of a 50-plus-year-old British property entrepreneur, business entrepreneur. I hate that word. It's a real weird word to say, isn't it? Entrepreneur. Anyway, that's what you could say, because I do all sorts of stuff property. In fact, I'm just speaking. I've just been asked to speak at a property networking event in a couple of days' time, which is like a bit out of the blue, so I need to get prepped for that. But yeah, so public speaker, I could be a public speaker. There's loads of stuff I could class myself as, but really I'm all sorts, and I don't want to narrow it down too much. So the question is, do you narrow it down? Do you niche it down, or don't you? So put in the comments, please. Have you tried not niching down? And if you have, has it been a mistake? Has it worked or not? So have a think about your niche, and is it really specific? You know, are you just focusing on people who knit with certain size needles with a certain colour wool, type of wool, and only knit scarves? That's really niche, isn't it? Pretty shit niche, but that's a niche. Or are you, I do all types of knitting, crocheting and stuff with needles? Or are you, I do all sorts of stuff, make jigsaws, clay pots. I do that scene out of, what was that film? Whoopi Goldberg, you know the one. Yeah, or are you just highly focused on one thing? I don't know. I really don't know the answer, but I'd love to know, and I'd love to see, especially in property. So obviously my sort of large niche is the fact that I work in property. I refurb properties, I convert properties from one use to another, I manage property, I deal with tenants who rent property, I'm a qualified fire door inspector, all stuff like, you know, there's loads of property stuff, and I'm sort of in that. So that's my larger niche. So, comments below, what do you think of easy mode? Is it a load of bollocks like I think it is? Is niching necessary? And if so, let's have some examples in the comments. I'd really like to hear your thoughts, because you listen to one video, it says one thing, you listen to another video, it says another, and then you listen to another video and it says another. So who's right? So feedback, folks, comment below. If you've made it to the end of this video, you are an absolute saint, or saintess. Is there such a thing? I don't know. However, if you've made it to this video, thank you very much. Please hit the like button, subscribe and comment. Let's have some feedback. Love you. Take care.